This morning, governments and businesses are considering a way for people to prove they've been vaccinated against COVID-19. They're called vaccine passports, and it could determine who can travel, stay at a hotel, or even visit a bar. Now, Israel's already using them, and the European Union just proposed them. The U.S., we're still thinking about it. Roxana Saberi is in London with more on the story. Good morning to you, Roxana. Here's a question. What are the pros and the cons of this idea?
Good morning, Gail. Well, supporters say it could help lift lockdowns in cities like London. You get a shot, you get a digital pass on your phone, and then you can enter restaurants and pubs. But critics warn of the potential pitfalls over privacy and more. Israelis must now scan in to get in to gyms, hotels, even concerts like this.
It is all set in the telephone. It's very convenient.
For more than 3 million Israelis and counting, this is the ticket back to some kind of normalcy.
Finally, all the way in the car, I sang back to life, back to reality.
The government-issued Green Pass shows personal details and proves they've had 2 doses of a COVID-19 vaccine. Now countries across Europe and beyond are considering similar so-called vaccine passports or immunity certificates to inject life back into a flagging tourism industry and revive businesses and hospitality like pubs. The UK is studying whether to introduce vaccine certificates, raising the possibility that Brits could soon need a passport for a pint.
Yep, all good.
We haven't had stuff like this before. We've never thought in terms of having something that you have to show to go to a pub or a theatre. And so there are deep and complex issues that we need to explore.
Issues like potential discrimination against people who don't want a shot, along with those who can't get one for medical reasons or because there's not enough supply.
So these people won't be able to participate in life, in public life, in social life, in economic life, in the same way as their counterparts who have been vaccinated.
Claire Wenham from the London School of Economics says data privacy is another concern.
Is it going to be something that's digital and tracks you? And that obviously opens a whole different range of conversations about, security of your data, for example.
So government shouldn't rush it?
Government shouldn't rush it. I think it's a Pandora's box, and I think it's a slippery slope into, having life being governed by your health status.
But as governments debate immunity certificates, businesses are pushing ahead. Some cruises and airlines, for instance, say they'll require proof of inoculation to board. So while these passes are raising tricky ethical questions, you may need one to travel as early as this year. The WHO tells CBS News it opposes requiring vaccines for travel as long as the global supply is limited and their ability to stop the spread of the virus is not yet clear. Tony?
All right, Roxana Saberi in London for us. Roxana, thank you very much.
I love this idea.
I love it, too.
I love
Not everything is a slippery slope. Sometimes you're taking one step forward, and that's all.
We get tracked digitally all the time now for all sorts of things. I have no problem.
Yeah, I also find, guys, the honor system doesn't work here. It doesn't. No. And normally, if you don't get a vaccine, it doesn't affect me or you. Yeah. It normally just affects you alone. But
that's
now,
right.
Whether you get this vaccine could affect a lot of people.
Everybody in the room.
And if you have a medical condition that prevents you from getting vaccinated, if you have an allergy, I'm sure that can be worked out and it can be marked on your passport.
Yep.
All right.
Well, no one's asked us, but we approve.
But we're unanimous.
Yeah, we're unanimous.
And where'd you get your PhD? Same place I did?
Yes.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yes.
Corny motherfucker. All right, Shalom Aleichem. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Rakah, Kodash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostate elders of Great Millstone. I'd like to say Shalom to the elect, the teachers word in all true faith and sincerity. And yeah, today I just want to tell this lesson, a ticket back to oppression. And that's what this devil is presenting to you by the way of you receiving the jab. Now you can enter into these certain businesses, these different establishments, even you just pretty much abiding in this society. It's going to get to the point where you got to have some form of you being inoculated. which lets you know that that word mandatory is being made more and more clear now. They ain't got to see mandatory for it to be mandatory. Requiring is another word for mandatory. Or no, you can't do this unless you do that. That's saying mandatory in a roundabout way, man. You know. But so like it's at the point now where, you know, is an ultimatum being made. Either you're gonna trust in Yahweh Hashem Shai, you're gonna trust in oppression, man. So matter of fact, because now we in that time where we're not trusting on Esau, we're not leaning upon this man no more, and it starts by you not trusting in his rhetoric, what he puts forth in his media, his forms of relief. You're not trusting in that no more. This is Isaiah 10:20. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such are escaped of the house of Jacob," meaning the elect of the nation of Israel. It says, "shall no more again stay upon him that smote them." See, so we're not trusting the man that beat our ass. And this is the beginning stages of that. Before ultimately, you know, we get pushed out of this society as a whole. Like the clip, you know, just harping on that clip earlier. It tells you that the people that pretty much that don't take this jab, that don't conform to this word, pretty much you're gonna be at a disadvantage at life. You ain't gonna be able to enter into these certain businesses. You ain't gonna be able to abide in this society without those requirements, which is the jab. But ultimately, it's gonna turn to that chip, man. You know, but it said the elect is gonna no more again stay upon him that smote him, and this is the beginning stage of that. When this man said you got to get the jab, no, this is the time where we say no now. This is the beginning stages. This is the stage of, you know, like I said, us leaving America. It starts with the mind, but it ultimately going to manifest physically. And that starts now. You not taking the jab. You not trusting what this man present unto you. And ultimately, you not taking the chip. So it says, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. And that's what we do. We trust in Yahweh Hashem Shai. How we do that? By trusting in the doctrine, trusting in the counsel, man. You know. So us trusting in the word of Yahweh Hashem Shai, that's what we're gonna trust in, Yahweh Hashem Shai. But you're gonna have Jakes that's actually gonna trust in Egypt, trust in the so-called white man and what he pushed forth. This is Isaiah 30 and verse 12. It says, "Wherefore thus said the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness." See, so as you can see, you despising his word automatically is going to lead you to trust in oppression and perverseness. Meaning what? You despising his word, you taking it lightly, you loathing it, and you trusting in you. That means you okay with living in the projects. You okay with our so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Natives being shot down in the streets. You okay with paying a damn water bill or damn child support. You okay with that. That's oppression. And it said perverseness. You okay with the LGBT, the alphabet people pushing their doctrine on your children. You okay with 3D printed meats. And they're just scratching the surface, man. You know, that's perverseness, man. And that's what ultimately that leads to you doing because you despise the word. It said because you despise his word and trust in oppression and perverseness, it said, and stay there on. See, so you ain't just saying till I get on my feet, I'm gonna do this. No, that means you hang your hat here. When you stay there on the meaning what you wholeheartedly trust in Egypt, you wholeheartedly trust in a so-called white man. You know? And that's that ticket back to oppression. So you can go back to the gym. So you can go back to being a nigga and really being oppressed. When you say that you want things to get back to normal, that means you want the incarceration rate to jump more dealing with our people, so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. That means you okay with having McDonald's in your hood, you know, in your neighborhoods, and you know, them selling cigarettes and everything. You okay with just pretty much being downtrodden, man. But what that it came from you despising the word. It's one way or the other, man. Because it's this word that actually free you. Let's get that real quick. This is on John 8 and verse 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. See, so this truth, it makes you free. Now you're not bound by what Babylon presents, man. Because there's a certain standard why you got social media. It's a certain look that you got to portray. You know, you got to have this amount of money. You got to have this certain type of car. You got to like this type of food. You know, but by the way of the truth, we are being set free from these things Babylon present, man. And ultimately, by the way of the truth, we're going to physically be made free, man. You know? But you got Jays that don't want to, you know, hearken to this truth. They want to trust in Egypt, you know. And then you had, it got to the point where you had niggas that actually wanted to go back to Egypt. Let's get that real quick. This is Numbers 14 and verse 1. I started at 1. It said, and all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said unto them, would the Most High that we had died in the land of Egypt? Or would the Most High we died in this wilderness? See? And wherefore the Lord brought us unto this land to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be a prey? Were it not better for us to return unto Egypt? See, and that's what they want, these comforts. What you know, Jake is not comforted here, man. You know, you just desiring the crumbs. You just want to be comfortable. You okay with, you know, having a 9 to 5 and tricking off on a weekend, if you even get to that point. You know, you watching a damn LeBron James game, eating goddamn Rotel dip. Jake content with that, man. And you got a few blunts, you know, to roll up. Jake okay with that, man. It says, and they said one to another, let us make a captain and let us return into Egypt. And how that's been played out now by these different celebrities, man. You know, these different Jake celebrities and actors and athletes, they got some sort of a voice to keep you here in America, to keep you here in oppression, man. You know, telling you to go to school. That's them making a captain and going back into Egypt. You got people actually telling you to, yeah, get you a college degree, you know, or pretty much any type of investment here in America, man. That's what they trust. And that's their ticket back to oppression. And it's ultimately going to lead to them taking that chip, taking, you know, the jab. They said taking the jab, but ultimately it's going to lead to them taking the chip, man. Matter of fact, let's get this in the book of Isaiah 30. Isaiah 36, matter of fact. It's like it. Isaiah 36 and 6, it said, lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt. See? So you trusting in a broken system on Egypt, which Egypt represents bondage, man. You know, and that's what Jake want to go back to. Because, you know, read Egypt tells you they were pretty much the pharaoh that didn't know of Joseph. I believe that was Ramses. He pretty much put more hell on them, man. You know, they had to make the mortar a certain way, I think out of the straws or something like that. So it was more hell brought on to them. But the only thing them niggas could come up with is the cucumbers and they was eating good, man. That's the only thing that tried them to justify them going back into Egypt. The pleasures of the flesh, man. So that's why they present this form of their solution, their form of relief. You take the jab, you can go back to the gym. You can go back to these bars, these certain establishments. You can go back to the movies. Take that jab first. But they trusting in the broken system. America is finished, man. But it's gonna be too late when 2/3 of our people realize that. So it says, "Lo, thou trusting in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it." See, so you leaning on Egypt, you using this place as for your stability. You making refuge or lies, you making a covenant with hell and death. You gonna have to, you leaning upon this place, it's gonna go into your hand and pierce it. See, meaning what ultimately you're gonna be reduced to taking a chip. That's what it's gonna come down to. You taking a chip. It says, "So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him." And who is this Pharaoh dealing with? The bankers. Because that's pretty much they claim you're their property. You consider their property once you receive that damn Social Security number. And ultimately, them counting up their cattle again is gonna play out by the way of that chip, man. But this is the beginning stages of that ultimatum being presented. Life and death, trusting in Yahweh Hashem Al-Shah or trusting in Esau Edom, man. Which trusting in Yahweh Hashem Al-Shah is life, but trusting in Esau, the so-called white man, is death, man. That's what it's gonna lead to. But that ticket back to oppression, you see it's gonna be by the way of this jab. And ultimately that chill, that's this man his form of relief. So matter of fact, let's bear with me, let's see if I can find that. Bear with me. Let's see. This is the book of Isaiah. Psalm 62:10. Trust not in oppression. See? So don't lean on pretty much with this. How you doing, man? Don't lean on what this man presented, because this is the routine. Because everyday life, as you know, is about to change. Your daily routine is about to change drastically, man. Because this man is about to come down with great wrath. This is dealing with, this man feel judgment is on his heel. And it's all got to do about power and rulership, man. So things about to get uncomfortable. And that's why I says trust not in oppression. He said trust not in oppression and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. See? Why? Because it tells you that this man, his dainty is gonna fly away as an eagle, man. But the point is, trust not in oppression. Don't trust the so-called, because he's the embodiment of oppression, man. It tells you those deceitful strokes make many wounds. This man is pressing you daily, on the daily, man. These different laws and legislation being passed, the food that you eat, the water that you drink, the air that you breathe, you've been oppressed on all sides, man. So don't go back to the same nigga, the kick that that brought you over here, beat your ass till you didn't know who you was, and told you was an African American, and gave you BET and Tyler Perry and these other rap niggas. This the same nigga, man. So it said, trust not in oppression. But you gonna have 2/3 of our people to trust this nigga and die with him, man. So yeah, Akim, I just hope that we edify. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect that teaches word in all truth, faith, and sincerity. DTA, Abba Abba.